All right, here we are out here on the farm throwing some more rural lifestyle stuff for you. We're gonna be checking some deer feeders and whatnot, but obviously Exmark is bringing you all this information, and behind me is my trusty Exmark. And I know a lot of times you see people hard selling you on stuff, but obviously I've always wanted to use some Exmark product, and I'm so happy with this one because I have a lot of grass to cut. A lot of us have a lot of grass to cut. And in my life, in my farm, man, between me, my kids, and my dad, we beat this thing up pretty good, and it's still ticking, no problem. It cranks, it runs, and still cuts my grass with great precision. But right now, let's go see if we can't find some big old pre-season whitetails. Oh, it's hard not to sweat even in the morning. But you know what? Sweating happy sweat, because I'm getting these trees all whooped into shape, getting some fertilizer put on them now, and some different things to make sure that these jokers are producing big, because we're gonna need these pecans, especially this year. But more exciting than getting these pecans farmed is the fact that if you look at your calendar, deer season's coming up. Me and my dad and the whole family really been kind of doing a lot of prep for the deer season coming up. Our bow season comes in, I think it's September 10th in Georgia, and we got capsule feeders out, and we got a lot of things that we've kind of got ahead of them this year, from planting to some cameras that we got out, Bushnell cameras we got scouting. So we're gonna walk you through some of that, and also kind of go back and look at some of our tree stands and make sure they're up to snuff. And by the time the season comes in, all we gotta do is roll up in there. We'll know what's there, and maybe we can put one in the back of the Chevy. But look here, if you ain't happy right now, you're having a bad day, keep watching, because we're gonna get you fired up. If you like the outdoors, you like hunting, you like the country, we're about to give you some stuff that's gonna make you smile and get you motivated. We all can get out here and do it, whether it's private or public. It ain't never too late to get out there and stomp around and figure out what's going on in the woods. And guess what? It's okay to stomp around now, because you ain't gonna hurt nothing. You can find out what's really going on out there behind these buildings, behind all of this fog and corruption and craziness. Get out there and outdoors, and that's what we're gonna do. Oh, geez. I like about this time of year, way before the season, you can beat around, even have your trusty dog with you. It don't hurt a thing, and I'll give you some pictures to prove it soon after we get this feeder rocking. Breeze feels good. Here's a great spot right here. This is an area, this whole field, we got a redneck blind on the hill, but the way we shaped this food plot, and it's obviously growed up, and I bush hogged out a swath where I put a capsule feeder, and I put another feeder right here that I've been putting some Big and J and some protein pellets and different things just to try to give some deer some extra supplement. But the way this hourglass is down, a lot of these deer like to come out right here, and it forces them to walk up this little lane. So obviously we got some tree stands right here that we can hunt on multiple different winds. What I like to do, and obviously it can't get expensive, but you know, run some protein in the spring and summer months. And what it does, it keeps the deer a lot of times on your property. It's not like they're up and leaving, but especially where you got neighbors, you know, these deer get used to it. In our case, we farm. The deer get used to hearing the tractors. You can notice here I'm talking regular talk. I'm not whispering. I got my little squirrel dog, Rose, little Kimmer Cur. She's running around. So obviously in the summer months, if you make a routine of filling these feeders, coming to check your cameras, what happens, the deer get accustomed to it. They're still not feeling any pressure, so to speak, from a predator coming to shoot them. They get used to this, to being a farming practice, from the tractors to hearing the Polaris. So I'm a firm believer that you can almost train your deer or get them accustomed to certain things, versus in the middle of nowhere in desolates, it's the first time they hear a Polaris or a four-wheeler, or they're around certain things, it really freaks them out. But in this case, we'll have evidence. Actually, we'll make sure tonight that we will make sure we share some of the trail cam photos that we have. So what I got here is a little bit of protein that I've been feeding since pretty much early spring, off and on. Obviously, sometimes they might go weeks that I don't feel it because I just don't have it in the budget to go buy some more protein. I'll come sometimes throw a bag of Big and J out this time of year so I can get really precise photos of these deer and what exactly they are. Here, I think, is one of the most efficient things that you can use if you're gonna take inventory. Even if you're somebody who decides not to hunt over bait, maybe it's not in your ethics, maybe it's not legal in your state, most states will allow you to put out an attractant to get pictures and take an inventory in not the hunting season. In a lot of states where you can't hunt over bait, you can still use bait to kind of get an idea of what the deer are doing and get an inventory of bucks that might you want to put on that hit list. So in this case, you know, most people, you just pile a big pile of corn up during the summer and you can start getting pictures of deer. What I don't like about that, here's a prime example where I did this before I got this. Rain, moldy corn. That's not good for anything. As a matter of fact, we're coming down today and we're going to shovel and remove that. So if it rains on it, it's exposed. The number two thing it does when you give a deer an option, they will eat mostly primarily at night, not because of pressure, it's because there's a natural instinct to be nocturnal. So what I like about the fact that you can use a capsule feeder, one is you can actually be right here and you can fill your feeder really easy and it augers this corn out. And second of all, you can put it on, say, 5 or 10 seconds in the morning, 10 seconds at night, so your corn goes a lot more longer way, so it's a lot less efficient. I mean, it's a lot more efficient as far as the cost of what you're doing, and it spreads the deer out, so you can put your trail camera out further away and you can get a good inventory. And so what we'll do tonight, or the next couple days, we'll put out a little bag of Big and J and hopefully we can get a more precise image of a deer right on top. But I just switched over to the cellular core, which is a cellular camera, because now I'm maybe a month and a half, 2 months away from deer season, so I can start getting an idea of what time these deer are coming. I want to get a little bit more detail to make sure I know exactly what's going on, so get them up closer to the camera. But outside of that, what I do a lot of times on my farm is run just a regular card cameras. And I can come check them every day. It gives me an excuse to come here. The deer can hear these four-wheelers, they can hear the banging around, and they start associating, honestly, me coming to check these cameras with a refreshing of Big and J protein or filling the feeders up. So obviously, you know, you look at this and I know immediately people are gonna think, well, that's nice. You got a farm, you can do these, you know, you can do that. You can still accomplish this on a hunting club. You know, if you have a membership type of deal, you can still accomplish the same things. If you're hunting public ground, you know, in some areas you can, some areas you can't, as far as the way you put trail cameras and putting bait, you know, during the off season. So no matter your ethics or your standards of how you want to go about hunting, there's a lot of different ways that you have to and need to manipulate the situation to try to get an inventory of what kind of deer are there. Because most of us now that had any type of idea of a trophy or any mindset of trophy, the only way you know what kind of deer that you're going to be out, or maybe you set your goal on, is to know this deer exists, to create some type of habits around them, and then if you got multiple cameras, you can get an idea of where you want to spend your time and what deer you want to hone in to try to target to get shot. And so from that, you can pull back on the ethics of how you might want to try them. You might can go back and realize that if I'm feeding here in the summer, you might go ahead and pick out, like around me, I got 2 or 3 big persimmon trees. If I wanted this bait to dry up, I guarantee you these same deer are gonna start hitting these persimmon trees. I got some pear trees that are natural up here and crabapple trees that I know these deer are gonna hit. Then if you look around me, right back down in the woods, I got some big, large white oak trees that I've actually went in and fertilized that I know are loaded with acorns. So I can manipulate and I can do certain things, and even though I got bait out here now, when it gets closer to the season, I can decide to pull the bait. I'm in Georgia, I can hunt legally just over this. Or if I got a guest that don't want to hunt over this, I can just turn the feeder off and there's no corn. And then I can hope that these deer start hitting a natural bait, which is a persimmon tree. But no matter which way you hunt, no matter what your ethics are, if you're gonna be a good hunter, you got to figure out the food, you got to figure out the bedding, you got to figure out transitions, you got to figure out the situation when it comes to these deer becoming in rut and how they're gonna travel, how they're gonna move. So even early season, if you don't have a food source identified, you're just doodling in the wind. You might as well not do any scouting, just go crawl up a tree. So you have to depend if you want to hunt natural bait, or if you want to find that. I've got good inventory around here of what that is. It's natural. Or you can put out artificial bait in those states. It's legal. In most states, minus like the Montanas and stuff like that, and I think there's some states that did away with trail cameras altogether. There's some states that did away with any type of supplementary feeding type of programs that you can't bait at all, but most states will allow you to put out bait to take an inventory. So this is a quick rundown of what I do in multiple different places. We call this little area Coy's Cove because my son McCoy, he shot his first deer with a bow and arrow right here. and he shot out of this double ladder blind. And I think I've said it on many videos when it comes to tree stand safety. I've really become fond of hunting out of these ladder blinds because my kids, my wife, they hunt, gives me a chance to come sit with them. We can sit up there and have great camaraderie. Obviously, it's open air. But one thing that sometimes we can forget in the hustle bustle of life, if you're spending that day on the hunt club, man, and you are putting out some cameras and you're trying to get an inventory, remember to go around those tree stands and bring you some good wall spray, because I've had so many friends that's had to bail out of stands. I'm talking about the day they go hunt. So you look at this, and I know that I put the stand up last year, so I know these straps are secure. I know the stand's ready to go. So, you know, a lot of times we go and we can shake it and look around and we're rocking. We're ready to rock and roll. Well, guess what? You come back over in that early September, especially in the south, you crawl up there on that morning, starts getting warm, and what you didn't realize, there's a big wasp nest that's under one of those seats, and you can completely get hurt in a very bad way. So what I like to do this time of year, when I'm banging around, talking loud, I got my squirrel dog with me, I'm banging, I literally will take a can of wall spray, and now is the time to go ahead and stink it up, spray it all down, and check those tree stands. So just a tip that's sometimes so overlooked. Don't forget, when you're out there beating around, riding around with your buddies, kind of checking out the hunt club or a farm or even some public ground that you got a stand that you left there, maybe hoping nobody would find it and steal it. Man, if you're gonna plan on hunting that thing early season, you better check it for wasps. My dad just the other day was cleaning out some roads, and some yellow jackets jumped on him. He was swole up like a pumpkin, man. And I'm telling you right now, there ain't nothing that'll make you hurt yourself quicker than getting a bunch of red wasps up there that's hanging on the back side of your tree stand or in the clasp of your tree stand safety rope that gets in there. So check those things and do it now. Beat around and do it, and that way when you come early season, maybe you're bringing your wife, maybe you're bringing your son, or maybe you're coming by yourself, you ain't got to worry about getting hurt. So that right there can not only save a broken limb, sometimes it can save your life and turn what you know will be a good opportunity to be safe versus something that could be dangerous when you crawl up in there on that opening day. You think them yellow jackets won't wear you out? Yeah, Papa was on the skid steer cleaning out a road. So that's the last thing you want to jump on you when you're 20, 30 foot up in the air, hanging on the side of the thing. I want to kind of give you something that I do that I think economically makes sense. When you look at trail cameras, they're part of our hunting vibe, man. I mean, they're a tool that we use as much as we do our weapons and everything else. This camera is monitoring now, and this is the Bushnell card camera. This is not a cellular core. Now, for me, when I look at the cameras that's out there this time of year in the summer months, even on my hunting leases and stuff, a lot of times I'll use the card cameras, because one is you can turn on and off the service on your cellular cameras, and I'll use this card a lot of times to monitor it, because one is the pictures here are great. You don't have to get a high-res image uploaded to your phone. You're not getting overrun by pictures on your phone. But the number one reason is it's economical. In my opinion, during the summer months, you're coming back, you're refilling, you're rechecking, making sure everything's working. I think the card cameras are a good tactic to use, and it's the most economical. Now, when I start getting about a week, 2 weeks from the hunting season, that's when I switch everything over to my cellular cameras, because now by this time on the cards, I got an inventory and I got these bucks on my target list that I'd like to try to hunt. Now I got my cameras that are sending me pictures to my phone that I can start evaluating the exact times they're getting there, kind of the continuity and how they're coming, and then I can dictate what stands I need to hunt based on the wind, based on how that deer is showing up. So now I've got a live monitor that's giving me an idea of how I need to hunt them. So what I do, again, to refresh, I run my card cameras through the summer, and as I get right close to hunting season, I'll switch over to the cellular core cameras that Bushnell makes. So that's just something I've learned that really helps me in the economics, because if you got 10 or 12, if you do have that many cell cameras, or even 3 or 4, it gets pretty expensive running that service all the time. So that's what I do. You can turn it off and on, and always it's worth the weight and gold to also run lithium batteries. That way, if you're gone for long periods of times, you got enough battery to get the photos that you need. So just a couple things I do. Again, it's just my opinion, but it's worked for me, worked well. One last thing, as I put out this Big and J, I'm hoping that big old horn rascal, or antlers, you gotta be correct. I can get a better shot of his antlers. I'd rather call them horns. This spot here has traditionally been good. Most of the places on my farm, we got a lot of history, but every year we kind of manipulate the area to get a better opportunity for a shot. So in the past, we've noticed always a lot of deer come out of this mountain ridge right here and these bigger hardwoods. They love the bed up there, especially on the south side of that mountain. And so in that, I've got a redneck blind over here, and then I got a food plot here, then I got another big food plot here, and another redneck blind that's more set up for rifle hunting. So right here, just back east, I've got you know, another double ladder. That's a good bow hunting stand. So basically, if you look here, once again, I've let this orchard grow up really thick, and I've got lanes cut. One there that comes into this little orchard. I got some fruit trees planted out here, a couple sawtooth oaks. I got a lane cut there that comes from that side. I got one here, one here, one here. So once again, from these bedding areas, all of this is just roads and tentacles that lead right by these pinch points as they filter into these food plots. So if I'm bow hunting, depending on the wind, I can jump in that redneck blind there, or I can jump in this ladder blind. What I'm also going to do is take a little bit of a Mark Wimpy type of tactic. I'm going to take some Egyptian wheat and I'm going to plant right in here, and that way, based on the situation, when I get down in the evening, if I didn't see a deer I want to shoot, you know, it's going to be hard not to bump a deer, but I can eliminate a lot of the deer as I get down and ease back off to get in and out of these stands. So just some other things that we're doing. It literally is, it can become very tactical, but that's fun, you know, because it becomes a lot of the cat and mouse. And for me, that's part of the joy in hunting, is trying to figure out ways to make plans that can lead to success. And when that happens, it just makes you feel cool, and it's exciting, and it's really exciting to be able to share with other hunters, because we're all trying to be successful, and we're all trying to fill our tags. We're all trying to have a good enjoyment in the outdoor experience. And so one of the best experiences is when you see a tactic. We pick up a lot of tactics here when we watch YouTube, when we watch TV shows, and so it's definitely not one of these, man, we know it all. But if I find something that's been working for me, man, I'm excited to share, because man, I want everybody to be successful. And if you finding something that's making you successful, please post in the comments and let us know, because I promise you we'll take advantage of it. And you look at all the experience we got out there and the people that's viewing, man, I don't know it all, but all together we know a lot. You know what I mean? So one of the things I found, and when it gets down to it, it's just a lot of money, it's a lot of expense, it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but holy cow, it's fun when you get out here. You can get that target buck you've been chasing, or you can set these youngins up in these blinds or in these double ladders, and they get a chance just to see deer, and maybe they get a chance to pop on a big old doe, and pop-alls and uncles and aunts and grandmamas and moms and dads get to celebrate that together. We can't forget that that's what it's all about. So anyway, just a quick little couple hours of me here on the farm as I'm getting ready for deer season, and I know you guys are doing the same, and I can't say enough, man. Appreciate you guys so much. Love all y'all, and happy hunting, and thank you for watching this. And if you stay tuned, we're going to bring you a couple more things that Exmark brings to this rural lifestyle. This particular situation is very special to me because I love deer season. I love everything about it, the tradition, the legitimacy that it brings, and the vibe. I'm excited. So happy hunting, baby. Deer season is upon us.